Make some noise!
Guys, let me just say, my bad. My schedule has been way too crazy. I did like an event. It was like a 9-hour stream. Before that, I had to shoot some footage, just a bunch of stuff. So my schedule has been a little wild. So I do apologize. Did anybody? Why I got you guys' attention? Make some noise, man. If y'all went to see Black Widow in the chat, bro, let me know. Or you just sat in your living room and watched it? Saw it online. Infamous says. Okay. I did not watch it yet. Dark Star. Okay. Who paying $30? I saw Black Widow. Not bad movie. Yeah, right. Watch it on Disney Plus. Okay. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I thought it was decent. Like, I paid to see it in the movie theater, and I was like, okay, all right. And it was like very enjoyable. Like, even though I knew the kind of dynamic they were going for, it was still very enjoyable. It's $30 to watch on Disney Plus. I mean, nah, you just go to the movies, you know? Kayalda. And on top of that, Markman was in town, so, you know, we could have definitely sat at home and did it, but we went out, ate dinner, you know? It was a good time. It was actually a good time this weekend. Yeah, it was good action, fun, exactly. Yeah, they really did kind of feed it. They really did set up for a lot when it comes to just telling the rest of the story. Can y'all give me a test? One time?
Test.
All right.
Test.
Okay.
Testing.
Hey, Steve, when I get back into town, remind me. And I'm going to give you like a cool cyberpunk like car dashboard for that Be Right Back message. So you can keep this. You can keep that like spirally background part, but I'm gonna give you like a custom car interior.
Bro, we definitely need to talk about that. I saw you got into that recently. I saw you putting it on your Twitter and stuff. I definitely want to start using some of those too. So that's perfect. I appreciate that. I appreciate
it'd be fun.
that.
Sure.
Okay. So guys, let us, just to make things quick, what we're gonna go over today. We're gonna go over this amazing episode 5 of Loki. But before we get into that, I want to ask, did you guys see Black Widow? And if you did, I mean, we can save the talk. We can give people one more, you know, we can give them another week or two to see, or just probably another week, and we can save the full talk, right? But if you want to give us like a snippet or something, because I don't know how much time you got, Ben. If Ben has time, I'll just take a note from you guys, and then we'll move on to Loki. But
no, an hour would be great if we could fit
okay.
this into an hour. That'd be
I'm finna put a timer on right now. Hold on.
I appreciate it, everybody. I'm like still packing for my trip in the morning, so.
All
right. Well, while you do that, while you get the timer going, I'll just say real quick, no spoilers. Black Widow is a decent movie.
It's a decent movie. It's a decent,
solid movie,
dude. Yes.
But it's not as mind blowing as you'd want it to be. But how could it be?
Yes, exactly. Right.
It's a bit weird to go from, was it Vormir, to like espionage.
Well, yeah, it's a closure movie that should have came out when it should have came out, and it's a good ending story. I think it's a fun little like transition to some new shit. But like, yeah, it's something that would have been better, could have been better earlier in the whole saga.
Yeah.
But we got it when we got it, and I still think it's a solid movie. Mistakes were made. Man, the dialogue was amazing.
Dialogue was amazing.
The chemistry, so good.
I think go on, Ben. You go on.
No, you guys are riffing, but I totally agree with you. Yeah, I think most of the dialogue is incredible. There's a few like of their banter that felt sort of like it was edited strange. Like one person's cadence didn't match the other person's. It was what do they call it, ADR, where it was like recorded after and put in or something like that. So a couple of times it was like, well, that felt a little forced. But otherwise, yeah, no, everything was super strong, especially the family dynamic. David Arbor killed it. I love everything he does. Yeah. I even loved. Despite the movie, I liked his Hellboy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because I think Hellboy's a pretty easy character to do. I think he did an all right job. But yeah. So yeah, dialogue is great. Because I haven't told everybody what I think. I thought it was all right. I thought it was all right. Didn't blow me away. Some set pieces were great. Some of the choreography was great. I guess the overall message was pretty good. No spoilers. Changing up the dynamic of what the Red Room is was kind of cool. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So, because we've been hearing about the Red Room for like 10 years now or more, right? So,
You know what I'm okay with? You know what I'm okay with Yelena.
I'm 100% okay with Yelena, bro. I can say this like confidently. I really like that character. Like if that character came back and was like, and it's odd because the character like in the comic books is like Black Widow's rival. So them like kind of changing the character to make her like rival / friendly rival is a switch, but still it's an okay switch. It's not one of those switches I'm like, oh, that's bull,
Right.
But the movie overall, like I'll say right now, like I liked it. I did not like the Dreykov's daughter reveal.
I think I feel like I hate when movies with you on purpose.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's clearly.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says because I was reading the chat when you started going live, and the people were like, "Yeah, I knew it was a man. I knew it was a girl." No, you didn't. Like that looked like a dude this
That
entire
definitely
time.
looked like a dude. Talking about Gamble.
And then at the end, I don't want to spoil. I'm sorry. But
I'm sorry. I did too. I'm sorry, guys.
You guys already did. You just spoiled it.
I'm sorry, guys.
It
It was right there, though. It was right there.
It was all in the chat.
I will say the frame looked slight. I wasn't gonna go all out and say, "Oh, I knew it was a girl," but I did at some point go, "That's kind of small."
I didn't think so.
He's not Captain America size or whatever. Like, he's not even Tony Stark size. It looked slight to me, but so when it happened, I wasn't completely surprised. But
So, and I went to see the movie with like a proclaimed like Taskmaster, like one of 4 people care about that character, and they were so tight. Oh my God, they were so tight. I'm talking about we had a call after. My old roommate was like, Steve, are you? It was like 1 a.m. He's like, Steve, we got to talk. I'm like, oh, here we go. And I wasn't that hurt by it. Let me be clear about it. I wasn't that hurt by it. But I feel like it was such a cool character that now it's like they can't even use the character anymore unless it's just some brand new take that they bring to cover it. And that was my only issue. I love the action, the story, even with all the shifts, the little nod Easter eggs, all made for, like, I had a good time. Like, I really liked enjoying that movie in the theater. But that was my only thing with it. I like it as a send-off movie, though. Like, I like it as it kind of, like, reinforced her dynamic in Endgame. Or, in Endgame. It kind of reinforced that dynamic. We saw, like, she got her vest. That's the exact vest she got from Yelena.
I love that.
When she wore, and, like, soon as I saw it, I was like, she was talking about, man, it has so many pockets. Like, I love the vest. And she's like, I knew you loved the vest. Like, I was like, okay. Like, that dynamic coming from that character and that delivery was so much more satisfying than I ever even thought that I would be able to give it credit for. But overall, no, I really enjoyed the movie. And I think it's a really cool way to send off the character.
Let me address the chat with the Taskmaster, though. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Taskmaster was super chatty.
Yeah, definitely like a Deadpool-esque kind of like cocky, like, hey.
Right.
And that.
So we should have gotten the recent Deadpool, and I think what we got was X-Men's Wolverine Deadpool.
That's what happened. No. That's what my roommate said. My roommate was like, they definitely just hit us with the Deadpool. And I'm like, they didn't hit us with the Deadpool. I'm like, they did hit us with the Deadpool. Like.
That hurts.
Yeah, no, that's like it. That's why I was like, oh, bro. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, damn. And he's not he's not goofy, right? Yeah, let me be clear. He's not goofy. He's more like a cocky swagger character.
Okay, yeah.
Like, he's like, yo, I can do this better. Like,
Deathstroke.
thanks for the tips. Like, stuff like that, right? He's one of those characters.
Yeah, he's kind of a Deathstroke, isn't he?
Yeah, kind of a Deathstroke.
So Slade Wilson, not Wade Wilson.
No, it's a kind of a mix of the two. It's kind of it's like very much a mix of the two because he knows that, like, oh man, it's really hard to kind of talk about this character. It's like the typical anti-villain, like, I'm gonna get there eventually, and I'm stealing all these other characters' abilities along the way. Like, it's a very cool character take, especially because it's a mercenary and it's like not full blown ninja mercenary. It's more like I have skills to get the job done mercenary.
So maybe obviously the character's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Marvel loves to develop people. We've all seen big story arcs for all of our favorite characters. So obviously somebody who's been sort of freed in a way might have quite a story arc from here on out.
Yeah, then this could be the beginning. They may have a plan, or they may not. It feels like a kind of an afterthought, like that. Said the whole movie, like the villainous plot was an afterthought to me. But
Yeah, man.
maybe there's just a bigger thing at play.
So this is what I boiled it down to. After talking to my second friend for like 2 hours about this, it boiled down to me that I don't think they have a plan for that character. I don't think we're going to see Taskmaster again. I mean,
I think so.
like.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I'm sorry.
It's really odd that they would do that, but on the same sense, like, what reason would that character come back? I know they have like the army, but they are kind of siding with Val, which I'll get to later. But that whole, I just feel like their idea for that character was nowhere near the interpretation of what we were expecting to get from just the comic book side of things, right? I like the way that they pushed it, the marketing, like who is Taskmaster, this is that and the other. And I found it odd, but I just wanted to know how they would introduce the character because I know where it comes from. And I'm like, all right, well, they're going to make something cool with this character, right? And I'm not saying the dynamic wasn't cool, but it was such a kind of shift from what I know about the character. Like, this character's in Marvel vs. Capcom, and while he's fighting, he's calling out the character. So he takes the abilities of other heroes, right? So, like, in Marvel vs. Capcom, he says, like, shield skills, like aim of Hawkeye. He that's how he, like, fights. So,
Yeah.
even though, like, he used the abilities in the movie, like, well, they used the abilities in the movie, the character, the way that they was portrayed outside of that, it just made it seem like, and this is to take from my friend who did not like the interpretation of the character. He said that could have been any character right there. Like, that could have been any character, and it really would have served its purpose, and they wasted, and that was what they was trying to convey. They was like, look, I just felt like they wasted this character that could have come back and possibly been more in this instance. Now, I could be completely wrong, right? I could be wrong, and they might have a plan.
It could be a Thunderbolt thing. Because I mean, Thaddeus Ross is in there. Like, this could be
this is
something
true.
down the line.
This is, look, and
how powerful would it have been if we found out who Taskmaster was in a different movie?
Oh my God, Ben, don't do that. See, this is one of the instances when I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
That actually sucks now because they could, like, that's what happens in my brain. Because you start making everything cool. You're like, damn, but if they did it this way, it would have been so godlike. You know.
Okay, but would it feel as genuine if it was a different movie? Because, like, my mind was blown when Loki mentioned Dracula's daughter in Avengers 1, because I never tripped off that line ever in life.
You
right?
never even thought about it, right? But this reinforces you. This reinforces something that you said. Every line is deliberate. Like, because I remember the Dracoff part, but the Dracoff's daughter part, come on, bro. Like,
it's crazy.
They get kudos for play. Like, the delivery and the play, kudos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. I kind of want to watch it again.
I actually bought tickets for tomorrow because you know how I play. I always, like, if it's an MC movie, I have to see it when it comes out, and then next week I gotta see it. So I'm gonna see tomorrow morning again, and that's when I come up with my for sure. Here's how I feel about it. Synopsis, whatever. But yeah.
We'll say, with everybody watching it a second time, I want you to count how many times she should have died.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, dude. I told my wife, this is Fast 9 vibes right here. Like, this is like they should be dead here for sure. Like, for sure dead. Like,
yeah.
No, I do like the interpretation of, like, what Ben was talking about, the Red Room interpretation. Like, I thought that was cool. I like how it was tied back to, like, the Enhanced Humans Act and the Sokovia Accords, and that it picked up, and it still told you, like, oh yeah, man, the reason that we're hunting her is because, like, she's the reason in Civil War that Cap got away. Like, she's the reason because she stopped T'Challa. Like, even those little plays really did. I was like, okay, they're tying everything up, right? They're tying everything up to, make it all connected, which they really didn't have to, but they still did. Like, for me, it definitely, I found out more about the character. Even going back to, her talking to Bruce Banner and some of these other characters and like Steve Rogers in the other movies, like all of that makes sense, especially when it comes to, so for me, it really does tie it up. It does tie it up to the sense where I'm probably going to watch it at least one more time. I got to watch it at least one more time. And I'm probably still going to end up buying it on Blu-ray or something like that. So
I am definitely going to get it.
Yeah, like
I have to. I have every other one, every other Marvel Studios movie.
Dude, in the movie, like, if we just talk about the cinematography, how it was shot, like, I really, like, I had no problem with anything, like, anything.
Yeah,
like,
nothing really jumped out at me as being like, that doesn't work. Like, it was, like Tech said, his opening statement, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's fine.
Hey, I just want to say low key, they're mass murderers too. Like, they
are like killers, bro. Bro, they are
hundreds
actually
of
like
people's
murderers.
lives in one scene.
I was like,
bad.
wow, they just don't care about life at all. Maybe she does have a lot of blood in her legs, because that's for goddamn dick.
That was a lot of death.
Yeah.
But I will say, all right, so let's just to put the kibosh on this now, just to say the end of this now. Out of 10, we can go at 0.5 integrals, right?
Yeah.
0.5 integrals, right? So
Wait,
what would you give the
five
movie?
Average?
Five can be average, and you can or you don't have to cite reference for this. By the way, you could just say and leave it there, or you could say hey and give us a little explanation.
I'm gonna give it a solid 8.2.
Okay.
8.2. Okay, that's pretty solid. That's damn
solid.
good to me. That's damn good.
That is pretty good.
Okay.
It's not a C. It's not bad enough to be a C though. Like, all my complaints are stupid. It's
Yeah.
a superhero, and it's like it's a superhero filler movie. It's fun. It's good. It had some good heart. It's good to see ScarJo again. All that stuff, It's got some potential for some follow up, some good build up in the universe.
Set up a good future. Set up a really good future.
It set up something very interesting. Actually, I was gonna say we can talk about that and we can go into Loki right after.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it. If I can throw my rating in there, I'm just gonna say 7.5.
7.5.
Considering the other, I'm only comparing it to its predecessors, its universe. It's a 7.5. It's not
such a huge library to hold up to,
Hell yeah, bro.
Exactly.
Right?
Gosh.
It's still on a very high end.
An MCU movie right now, I'll be like, no, I can't.
I mean, it's just like anyone has to follow Heath Ledger being Joker, right? Like, following Endgame is a tough thing, and Spider-Man did a good job, but this is the second movie after that. So, it has a lot of big shoes to fill as far as expectations, especially after we had to wait so long for it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good movie. I think everyone who likes Marvel will love it, or at least watch it and be entertained. It's not the worst Marvel movie ever. It's not the greatest. It's about a 7.5 or 8.
Yep. Well,
I also, like, Ferrata in the chat was set at 5.5. I also wouldn't, like, I'd be like, oh man, come on. I'd be like, I get it. If you don't like it, I get it.
And yeah, I told my wife when we left, it's like, I liked it, but I can see why someone wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if they have end-game expectations, or like just the momentum they already have with the Disney Plus shows. Like, they have a huge amount of momentum, and this movie isn't really fulfilling for that.
Yeah,
it's just more like a beautiful Black Widow send-off.
It is like so, and I think that's just
Hold on a minute. Ferrata says his 5.5 out of 10 is a B minus. I am thoroughly confused.
I'm super confused. Nah. 5.5. Nah. I'll take that chance to say. So when you there's a lot of characters I come across because I read side character books, right? Like, that's how I find out about other stuff I'm interested in. The only reason I know about Black Widow in comic book form is as an offshot of Captain America, right? And I wasn't the biggest Captain America guy until I read Onslaught. I say that to say that this is very much like a side story that's a movie, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those side issues where you're just like, man, that character's pretty interesting. And they have a series explaining, in detail about this character that, pops at least to a degree enough to get this far, right? And I think that this movie does that very, very well. We definitely have been comparing. You have to compare it to the other movies, the Disney Plus shows. You have to do that, right? However, the thing is that like if you compare that to some of the other characters that have these shows now, ScarJo's Black Widow has been around since Iron Man 2. That's one of the longest existing characters on some like legacy, and like they still do a great job of like rounding out that character story to this point. And they still, like I said, they gave this other character life, especially considering now she's still in play thanks to Val. And even if I am thinking about other movies in the MCU, I would still give this movie like a 7.5, 7.3, 7.5, somewhere in that range. You can plus or minus my bias in there if you want to.
I wonder how Marvel's going to respond to that. Right? They're not used to.
We need this though. Like we need this type of movie from Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
It can't all be haymakers.
Exactly,
it cannot
bro.
be.
Exactly.
That's not sustainable. I don't like because then you're gonna run out of shit. You're gonna be running. How do you top yourself each time? It's gonna have to be some movies like this, and I'm okay with that because I love the characters.
It's gotta be some street level movies too, because that's what people love about comics. We gotta have heroes for hire and shit like that. We gotta have
Absolutely,
because you can't keep doing multiverse shit. It
can't be world ending every time. It just can't.
It can't, right? And like, I think that like one thing that they do well is like, and one thing I respect about Marvel is that they try to put some kind of conciseness to the fact that like there's a bunch of shit happening, right? Like they do a good job of being like, man, this isn't one like isolated event. This is like some stuff that's stacked and piggybacked, and people are looking here and people are looking there, and they're trying to give you this cohesive thing, and they still do a good job of delivering to the degree. Like I literally, when I finished watching Black Widow, I was like, bro, she died on another planet. Like, like,
come on, dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she literally died on another planet, bro. Like, this is like small beans. That was like a build-up. She was like, that's the ultimate send-off, if you ask me, right? Like, she literally went. Her job was to understand her family enough to go back and put the Avengers back together. Like, she was an integral piece in that. So it's like, for me, I'm like, if you look, no matter how you look at the saga of Black Widow as character development and where she stands in the movies, I think it's still damn good. So that's why I say 7.5, 7.3 for me. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. The only problem I have with it was the way they treated Taskmaster, and it's specifically just the point of I will be really, really sad if this character doesn't get the shape of something that like can be returnable, that can come back, because I just really like the character.
They keep proving our point that they're not killing their villains anymore.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Marvel's slowly giving us more and more, and we're about to get another one on Wednesday. More villains that they're not getting rid of. So maybe they learn their lesson.
I hear
y'all. Very good point.
I hear y'all talking about the fight choreography, bruh. I don't know who was in the Taskmaster suit, but that fight on the bridge, bruh. Like I was like, oh, like what? Like I was like, what?
It's really fun to watch them try to figure each other out, for sure.
It was not Olga Kurylenko for sure.
Right.
That we know.
But okay, so I think it was really cool. They had that little homage to all like the Avengers and stuff in there, because it was using all the different powers, and they show like Taskmaster like absorbing like looking at fight footage and stuff from like Civil War and all this other stuff, right? But so just to kind of like transition, right? Let's get into it, because we almost at this 30-minute mark. We got about 9 minutes left at the 30-minute mark, and this is a good break. What do you guys think about the spoiler coming up, guys? The fact that, Val pops up at the end at the gravesite.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Yelena had been working with her for a while at this point.
That way.
Right? Yeah. And sending her after Clint Barton dressed up, blaming him for the death of Natasha. What do you guys think about? What did you guys take from that?
I originally thought that she was going to be the new Widow. Maybe part of the team or something like that.
I mean, she is.
She technically is a new Widow, and she's going to be a part of a team, just not the good Avengers team, Because
Yeah.
that, if you think about it, my bad. Go on. I ain't mean to cut you off, bro. Go ahead.
No, I mean that's really. Oh, the only other question was like, what was your name? Veronica, you said.
Yelena and Val. Yelena and Val.
Valentino.
Yeah.
Valentina, that's right. What's like? We still don't know what she's up to. What's her agenda? Why is she hiring people? Why is she, why is she trying to kill Barton and stuff like that? So of course, obviously, that's what we're supposed to be thinking. But yeah, I don't know what's going on between that and Falcon and Winter Soldier shit. I don't know what's happening. She's obviously putting her own team together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but obviously not of the highest quality of hero, right? Like,
Definitely
so
not.
that's we got two people right now who are kind of killers. So it's interesting to see what she's doing. I like the fact that I knew it was coming, and it didn't matter. I don't think it mattered the order that it came in, right?
Yeah, it really did.
Supposed to happen before Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're supposed to have seen that, and then that's supposed to pay off in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but it still felt the same to me, right?
Yeah.
Like either way. But I'm excited.
Gamble says she still looks like her corny Seinfeld character. Yeah, I think that's the point, Gamble. I think that's the
It's
whole
kind of
point.
hard to not see her as Elaine, right?
Yeah.
It's so hard to not see her as Elaine, but
the delivery
We'll see.
fits. The delivery, it'd be different if
Sure,
it
why
was
not?
bad, right? Like, if this was bad, I would be like, yo, what? But, like, I really like her being that kind of, Nick Fury-esque character going and gathering people. So, and just quick speculation, right? Apparently, the character, Yelena, she is in the Hawkeye series. But we didn't know what her role would be, considering. But now, I guess it kind of points at a reason she would be in the Hawkeye series. So she's
Also,
probably going to try to kill Hawkeye.
how dope would it be if, because we know that Hawkeye was sent to get Black Widow and he switched. How dope would it be if she tries to go get Hawkeye, he convinces her to become the next Black Widow?
Oh, damn. I ain't even thinking. I don't know how I didn't think about that, but yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be kind of dope.
I think this was supposed to be Val's debut.
It was, yeah, that's what I was saying. That was supposed to come before Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, my point was it didn't matter because it still hit the same.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Sure.
No, I think this is a good way to tie in all the series, though. I think this kind of like retroactively puts all these characters back in line with each other. They go out to Clint, and then of course you still have Sam and Bucky, they all fit in that same wheelhouse, and there's no way their paths don't cross sometime soon, especially if they got another movie coming out. But either way, I like the movie, like I said, man. 7.5, 7.3, whichever you want to call it, plus a remove from my biases. You can still keep it in that range. Now, let's go to Loki. Man, I think I've watched that episode like 4 or 5 times.
It's a lot in there, man.
Legit,
It's
just
dense.
like having it going and being like, oh my God. So quick breakdown of what happened, and I'm gonna try to, whatever I leave out that you guys feel are important when we start talking, just feel free to bring it up, right? So Loki picks up in this distant alternate world at the end called Void. I freaked out because I definitely thought it was a Sentry Easter egg, but they said it was a Void, not, the Void. So I definitely snapped a little too early. But that's how excited I was. It was too much shit, man. My senses were being overloaded. I didn't know what to do, okay? But I was watching this episode, and you see, like, Loki is, he gets caught with all these other Lokis, right? All these other different variations. He got boisterous Loki. He's got kid Loki. He's got an alligator Loki. Richard E. Grant playing, old Loki. And I think, like, this is one of, like, the best ways to, which, and I'm telling you right now, I didn't expect this, to how to kind of look at the characters. But you see that Sylvie, she actually keeps Renslayer hostage until she tells her, she's like stalling her for time till the cops get there. And then she ends up self-pruning herself to go find Loki while Renslayer goes and talks to B-15. Now we get to, the Void, and we see, Mobius is still alive. And this is after we see Sylvie running from the big ass a cloud. What is it? Alioth. The giant cloud Alioth, right? Which is a real thing. Now, I thought that was the Void, but it's actually something that Tech, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you know this or not, that's like a direct connection to Kang the Conqueror. Like they're like
yes, like they don't like each other at all.
right. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but once you go in, the Avengers Tower that was there was not
Kang
Avengers
Tower.
Tower. It was Kang. It was a Kang Easter egg. It was a Kang tease, right? So all these things, they're kind of like continually. I mean, it could be the big swivel. They could get us again, but who knows, right? Sylvie sees that, there's something else at the end of this void, right? So after she catches up with Loki, after he meets up with all these alternate Lokis, they get betrayed by boisterous Loki to King Loki, or I guess vote Loki, and they actually have to get out of there because that's afterwards when they meet up with Sylvie. They meet up with Sylvie and they have the plan to actually, enchant Alioth and not kill Alioth. I thought that was actually crazy. I didn't know how they planned to do this whatsoever, but the scenes leading up to that entire last like 20 minutes was absolutely nuts. Like it was so good.
Weird contrast too, because like there's some legitimate slapstick shit going on. Most
Yeah.
of this episode.
There is, but it's like still done so well within the like. It didn't seem like cheeky, right? It didn't seem like it was like forced. Like it fit very well.
Well, I mean, a bunch of gods of mischief, like attacking each other. Yeah, it might be
alligator Loki, taking people's hands off.
It might be silly. That's fine. I was fine with it. It was goofy.
I was definitely
fine
fine with it.
Yeah.
I think even though it is kind of like slapsticky in a way, right? It's definitely campy in a way, and I'm definitely not like thinking. I'm not buying into this initially going in, right? I'm not thinking I'm gonna care for any of these supporting Lokis, right? But then you see characters like Richard E. Grant playing like old Loki,
Dude, he's
and
so
like,
good.
oh my god.
He was so, dude. Honestly, he was OP, dude.
He was
like,
so broken
laying shit
as old.
the entire episode.
Oh my god, dude! It was so broken. Like I was watching this and I was like, "Damn, bro!" Like, and then he went out like a boss on top of that, right?
Oh man, that's the pivotal moment of the episode.
Bro,
when
like
when
you
he
got
screams
to know this
glorious
character
purpose.
in one episode. This is one episode. You get
His actions throughout the entire episode, like it fueled Loki, like the Loki that we know. Because like even in the battle, he's like he wasn't fighting.
I never
He
thought
was
about
watching
that.
old Loki. Old Loki was throwing projections that were actually hurting people. Because before, if you touch hologram Loki, you might go through them. He was doing projections that were fighting in their place. He opened a portal. He's watching all this shit, and then of course the grand Asgard projection. And I think that's what makes him realize that if you survive, you can become more powerful than you ever would have imagined. I think that was like super dope for like the old Loki character to be that inspiration.
Shinji X says he really was right about knives all along, and that shit really do be nerfing your magic potential. Says Shinji X.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, that checks out. But and then what was it? Loki told Sylvie there at the end. Is I think we might be more powerful than we think.
Oh yeah. Can we talk about the fact that like the way that they're exploring just Loki as like I was not expecting this kind of character development. I'm just gonna be 100% honest. Like I was not
assumed he was
expecting
already developed.
this kind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we've seen the peak of this character. Like I'm like, oh, we're cool. Like what else can they give us? This is gonna be just some big ass Easter egg hunt, and it kind of was. But it hit every note though. Like it literally hit every note. Like they made this show exist, right? With crazy Easter eggs. They have Throg in there, a full-blown Mjolnir in there. And I don't know if you guys know this, but like Chris Hemsworth, he was actually the voice of the frog, just the grunts themselves. The Thanos copter was in there, which is something used in the debut of that, like so many
The fact
things.
that they can get Chris Hemsworth to play the voice of a frog, but they can't get Chris Pratt to play Star-Lord in the What If series. Like, what's going on here?
That's actually
that's kind of
ridiculous.
weird. That's actually really weird. But Thor did it with no compensation. He just did it just on a love.
I would have did that shit too. Like you gonna say, hey yo man, you are so iconically connected to this character in the cinematic universe that we want to put your voice on it forever. Why not do that? Like, I don't understand. But yeah, I think the whole fight with them going to fight Elias, the way that they made the character think about to watch this character have conversation with themselves about being better was a strange way, not strange, but an unfamiliar way for me to see character development like this, because I wasn't expecting it. Right, you had this one Loki out of time, looking at all the versions of his potential self, outside of himself, right? Like, he got to see his entire evolution of character all the way up until the point that he died. And he's now coming to find out more about himself, saying that he's more powerful. We could probably be more powerful than, you ever imagined. And seeing what the other Lokis could do. And even seeing, like, how his character would have changed had he killed his brother, right? Like, had he lived through the Thanos attack, right? Which was the other character's gimmicks, right? Kid Loki had killed his brother Thor in his timeline, right? And you could even tell that, Loki wasn't even really impressed by it. He was more like, like, wow, like, this is what I would be like, and just the age that he did it, right? And then you have this boisterous Loki, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what did he even do to get, like, picked up? I don't even know. But you had Alligator Loki, and then of course you had the Vote Loki. But just all these different character growth spots that they show you, like, objectively outside of itself. I didn't expect to get that kind of intake from this show. But man, am I glad they did it, because it was amazing. It hit every note for me. And the Easter eggs were ridiculous. Like,
so many. The USS Eldridge coming in.
Right?
If you guys don't know what that is, Google the Philadelphia experiment.
Oh,
it's
man.
Old Navy destroyer that apparently had disappeared. So
they said they, like, tried to use cloaking tech on it, and, like, and it, like, went to another dimension or something. And then it's like one of the stories is like the people got, like, mailed to it or some shit. Like,
into it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird. But, like, all that stuff, the Polybius arcade that was in there.
Oh yeah, Polybius, that's great. That's a deep cut.
The high C ecto cooler that Kid Loki was drinking, letting us know he has supreme taste. Because if you know, you know. And young Kid Loki knows. The fact that Mobius was alive and he went on their side. We see the B-13 had that conversation with Renslayer, where she finds out that she wants to actually know who's behind all of this, right? Which even more so points to the fact that they're just pointing us right at Kang, right? Like, how does if she's still going to play a part, is her either potentially taking us to the real Kang or maybe something else. But that castle could be anybody's castle, bro. What if they go in there and Marvel hit us with the ultimate and it's like Doctor Doom? I'm telling you right now, I would actually scream. Like,
what are we doing to ourselves here?
This speculation, Steve. Do I gotta put the glasses on?
It's Mephisto, guys. It's Mephisto.
My man, dude, Tech, you just gonna jump out the window? You just gonna throw a Molotov cocktail in the conversation like that, for real?
You know I'm joking.
No, Phoenix Stars. I hate to be the downer, but if Phoenix Star is probably right, it's probably King Loki.
Yeah, it's gonna be Loki, I think, too.
It's gonna be a Loki.
Yeah, because if we expect it's gonna be Kang, it's not gonna be Kang.
It's right.
Like, that's it.
Because we said that, we're on a different timeline.
We're already on a different timeline. I hope you're happy now. I'm gonna go with Doctor Doom. I'm gonna say the best timeline is Doctor Doom. No, I ain't gonna say. I mean, that would still be weird. That, like, even if it was Doctor Doom, like, I would love to see how they write that. But
it'd be so confusing, dude.
But I mean, in all honesty, they still have. I still want to know how they explain this, because they still have that place in Ant-Man and the Wasp that they showed in Quantumania, or the Quantum Realm, that definitely looked like Chronopolis, right? So I don't know how that ties into the other one. Like, is that a different spot? Is it still Kang? Like, if that's Kang, then who's in the castle? Because it might just be the one who remains that actually created the TVA. That's probably who it is too. I think.
So here's the thing: like, WandaVision just kind of ended, right? She retreated to her cabin, and we know she's looking for her kids, right? And that's kind of it. It didn't really set up the universe after that. Black Widow had set up the universe more than WandaVision did, in a way. with the post-credit scene. But so like, what are we gonna get here? Is this gonna wrap up cleanly with a little morsel like Marvel always does, or are we gonna get a huge build up to what's coming?
I mean, whatever the point is, like it goes back to that very simple point of the Disney Plus shows. It's just going to home run that point.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that
They're
this is
lining
the
the
beginning of
bases.
the multiverse, and like that, and that's what's going to like. They're not going to succeed, and the multiverse is or whatever the end is going to be. We don't know, but like it's going to introduce the multiverse. And the only thing that makes sense logically, if they're going along with the comic books, is it's He Who Remains. Like that's the person
Right.
that should be in that castle. Like that. That's the only thing that makes sense from a Marvel standpoint.
No, that's true.
I even think using Loki, like King Loki, would be weird. Like, because why did he take over time?
Yeah.
Like, how is he powerful enough to take over
I would agree with that.
time?
Yeah, I would agree with that. That would be weird.
It would be weird.
Yep.
Yo, Ben
There's
Jerry
no-
Curl, what's up? Oh, my bad, y'all. I was just saying, what's up, Ben Jerry Curl? Welcome to the Taste Bud Sub Club. I appreciate that, Feralta. I appreciate that, man. But go on, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's it. That's kind of the point. Like, for me, if it's not He Who Remains, then it's kind of like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna just do our own thing now, because like nothing else would make sense. Kang makes sense for sure, but like they're doing too much Easter eggs for that to be what it is. They're doing too many hints. and
You're
too
saying
many,
it's too obvious for it to be Kang.
it's too obvious. But now, if it's He Who Remains, that's gonna blow everyone's fucking minds, because I want to see how they would represent He Who Remains. Like what would that be?
So my
That's
combative,
kind of what they're pointing to at this point. really.
So if it's He Who Remains, right? If it is the guy who is responsible for the TVA, I feel like I forgot my train of thought here, but if it is He Who Remains and
Yeah.
not Kang the Conqueror, right? That still goes to the point of, oh my God, I completely lost this thought, but
I agree with Phoenix Star. He says He Remains would confuse the shit out of all the plebes. It would. Like He Who Remains is such a but that's the accurate, that comic book person who's in charge of the TVA. Like that's the accuracy.
Guys,
in the
on
same way,
wiki, it says that Thor and Jane Foster encounter He Who Remains.
that's kind of, this would be an amazing introduction to that.
right.
That'd be odd. Oh man, I just feel like, oh my God.
Well, okay. Everybody remembers going to the theaters back in the original days. Like I said on multiple occasions, my other half has been reading comic books her whole life. So when you see Thanos' big ass chin and goofy grin at the end of whatever movie that was, I had to explain who that was, right? So like, it's not uncommon for them to give us a little something that a lot of people don't know who it is.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
not-
they gave us Elias.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And that was like, that's a throwback, right? Like, if you don't know, you're gonna be like, oh shit, because like I said, I thought it was somebody else. Like I was like, man, they're gonna go that deep, like, huh? So now they're going so close to Kang, and that's the thing that makes it seem like, that's why it doesn't seem like it would be Kang, right? Because everything is pointing to Kang. And then it's like He Who Remains, because that is who created the TVA. But if it is He Who Remains, why would He Who Remains be in this timeline and not the main timeline, right? Like, why? If this is the sacred timeline, like, it was going to be.
He's in the Citadel at the. So we don't know which timeline we're in because that's a portal. When they killed Elias, so all we know is that he's at the Citadel at the end of time.
But
so.
And I guess this isn't that. I guess that rock that they showed, that like kind of meteor that they showed with the earlier in the series. This isn't the same place, because I was under the impression this was the same spot that they showed. This rock on the outside of time, but
Yeah.
I could be mistaken.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But this episode,
I definitely want to get ready for the slightest thing that it could be. So we get so we're not expecting Magneto and WandaVision, right? I want the other end of that. Like what's it probably going to be, right?
A silhouette of a man in a chair that's the end of the episode. That's the end of the series.
Bruh,
Like
that'd
something
be
so
crazy.
vague.
oh, that'd
we
be
just-
crazy.
We still won't know.
They
Like
hit us with the
we're like,
Sopranos. They're gonna hit us with the
yeah, like-
Sopranos.
Like we will still have these questions after the show. And I guess you're gonna have to watch, the next MCU thing to find out. Or
What's the last?
I thought I had before. Let me get it out real quick.
Yeah.
Is that this sets up what if, like, it all goes to shit at the end, and all of a sudden, like, everything's in chaos, and now we get what if.
Look, to me, it sounds like that makes sense. What if comes out in August? It leads up to Spider-Man and Shang-Chi, right? Like, I feel like it goes in line with that. I wouldn't, and now I'm really interested in the what if, because I feel like it ties to the point of just, they're giving us all these characters that really tell that story. If they give us the Watcher, we've already seen them in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? But then coming from He Who Remains, and then they had the head of the Living Tribunal statue here, which is another like cosmic entity in Marvel. That, like, to me is like they're giving us all these characters that fit that level. So it could be He Who Remains. It could be He Who Remains, or it could be Kang. Like, I feel like it's 50-50 for either or. Probability wise, I feel like it's gonna be He Who Remains over Kang, just to hold the big payoff until, Quantumanium. But it's either or. Long shot, you give some Doctor Doom shit, but I feel like it's either Kang or He Who Remains.
So the Living Tribunal is says here is the function is to safeguard the multiverse.
Yeah, they actually had a scene. Go on.
I'm just saying, like, is that why things are going to shit? Because he's not around?
So I don't know, but it's just a statue. We don't know if that's like the actual head, right? Like, we just know that.
And plus, it's multiverse, so it could be a version of the Living Tribunal. Yeah. Even though I'm pretty sure he'd be an Apex, or I'm sorry, Nexus being. So he'd probably be the same in all the multiverses. I love the questions though that is making us ask.
Yeah, but you're probably right. It's gonna be slight. It's gonna be a silhouette. It's gonna be a nod. It's gonna be a smile in the dark.
Yeah,
it's gonna be tune in next time.
It could be, but I feel like, and if you think about that, I feel like they've done with this with every show on Disney Plus so far. Every show is left us to be like, who the fuck is this, right? Like, who is doing this? And it kind of is a spin on what we get from stuff like The Flash and stuff like that, but with so much more development and so much better writing. No offense to, Flash or anything like that. But it is kind of like you get a villain of the series, and the build-up is all character development.
Well, those other shows like Flash and Arrow and stuff are all about, like, big, huge 26-episode seasons with Monster of the Week and all that stuff. It's about, like, how much content can we cram in here to fill an episode or a season of a show, rather than, like, 6 to 10 super curated episodes that feel like little feature films. I mean, that's kind of where we're at these days with streaming. It's Game of Thrones did that, and Netflix has been doing that before that. So,
no.
So they can be a little more precise, right? It's a little more scalpel than hammer.
So just the homie NY Crownless King in the chat says, I gotta say it's foreshadowing. If old man Loki said, why does every Loki seek power? It makes sense. Don't think it's Kane or whatever. It's another Loki.
That would be so weird if
I
at
think
the
it
end of
would be
time
weird.
is a Loki. That would be so weird for me. But I can see it. But that'll be deviating so hard from the source material.
You already have Richard E. Grant playing the, hey, I outcasted myself, end of time person. Like, and he's the person that got targeted by the TVA. So it's going to be another one who was even more slyer, more trickier than the guy who cast the illusion, the projection that, made people think he was dead. Like, that's weird. Like, how did he get
super boss Loki? Come on, man. We got to do better than that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the super boss at the end of the series is another Loki. It has to be bigger than that.
Like, oh wait, just to carry on, NY Crownless King says, why would you give Kane a few minutes of screen time when never seeing his face? I don't think it's, I mean, dude, if they showed a silhouette, like if you said, like, the speculation would be enough. Because we know the character's going to show up eventually at that point, right? They're not going to give you this and then it never pay off. Not at the end of a series, they wouldn't do that,
they've also been showing the timekeepers' faces like the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a way they could just make it blend in and be like, oh yeah, this is the person's face we've been showing you this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they make the actor, I can't remember his name, they make the actor's face a little more angular.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors, you mean?
Right, just add some edges to his face to make it look more like the statue or something. Like done, right? Done.
Right.
Connected.
Yeah, it'll be instantaneous. You'll be like, oh, that was him behind the
whole
judge.
time.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to show the villain. Nah, I think those kind of expectations will get you bodied. Like, cause they know you want to watch a movie too. They know they're building up to something else. If it gets to the end and Loki gets captured on some like we still don't know who it is, and they give us like a tease, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Especially since we know they're talking about a second season, so
Right? Exactly.
we might get some answers, but we might not get them all.
You
Like I
think
said,
they can?
WandaVision pretty much wrapped up, right? We might not get that.
So you think that's they could do a second season of Loki? Like,
Apparently,
is
they're
that even-
they're en routes to do it. Apparently, like rumor is that season 2 is coming. So honestly, like I said, I think that.
That's kind of a spoiler though, isn't it? I kind of hate that I know that.
I mean, but you know, I mean, this is a rumor. This is anybody could say this. It could have been a coffee shop, whatever the fuck, you know. I'm just saying,
sure.
like for me, like that's not really. If they make a season 2 and eventually fuck it up, that's on them, right? But like I'm still in the ballpark. If they add something else to it, that it's gonna be canonical enough to make sense, right? Like it's not like they wouldn't have the material. It's more about how you implement said material and the delivery, right? No, it could be. I think it would not be a big enough payoff if it was another Loki, to set up the entire TVA, and you know they had the Loki that ruled, right? Like, well, I guess they didn't have the one that ruled that wasn't King Loki, the vote Loki one, but I think that's what they're giving us. That's why he's there to say, well, hey, look, this is all of you, Loki. And on top of that, it being another Loki would not be the biggest thing to happen to go up into phase 4. I feel like that's another reason I don't think if it's another Loki. If they like, there's another Tom Hiddleston, and that is the big payoff for phase 4. I don't think they would do that.
That would literally be a huge disappointment for me personally.
Right? Hold on. Caramel Jenkins says, does Kang have something against Loki? There's got to be some significance to the fact that Lokis get pruned more than any other variant. Why specifically him if it's not
That is a good point.
another Loki? Ooh, that's pretty good. And I think
pretty solid
Sylvie is
point.
probably
Yeah, like
the
why
one.
reveal him now, right?
Like, and I think Sylvie is probably the one that would overthrow the one behind it all, and that's why she got captured without even having a Nexus event. If a Loki is behind it, that's true, right? That Loki could say like, well, Sylvie could come here, and like I knew it was gonna happen throughout time somehow, and that's why I made them prune you, and I have the whole TVA to stop the other Lokis and the potential of it ever happening, right? So if Loki's existence is to eventually, you know, usurp somebody like Kang or mess up what's happening with Kang, then that could potentially make sense, right? Like that's why they would be. That's what I feel like. I was thinking they had a reason to go after the Loki because it would mess up their rule, but I didn't think it would work around to the end of it being, you know, a Kang or, you know, especially not another Loki.
But is it possible that the only reason why there's so many Lokis is because, like he said, Lokis know how to survive?
Exactly.
And they're just the only ones out of all the people that are getting pruned and all the other heroes and villains getting pruned, and they're the strongest one. Like they're just the ones who can basically slither the way out of death, out of Goliath.
I mean, they are not. I mean, the fact that they are the only, you know, variants to survive says that, right? Like,
Yeah.
and they know that other people in the TVA they were taken from from another timeline. They're all just like variants. So, I think the twist is Mobius is a Loki variant. That'd be weird.
That'd be weird. That'd be super weird. The only way I would respect it if it's a Loki variant at the castle is if it's Sylvie and Loki, like a version of them. That would be insane. But if it's just
the deep in the wiki, there's an instance where Kang poses as Loki.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
It's for a different reason, but still.
I mean, if it's, I'm not gonna tell you how to look into that, but I'm gonna look into it. I don't want you to spoil yourself. If you really think it, I'll dive and be like, let me see.
Yeah.
Well, if there's a connection to Kang and Loki, I can see it. I think the connection is more Renslayer than anything.
That's for sure. She's got more story to tell for sure.
She's so full of shit, dude.
Bro. She's so full of shit, bro. And like her infatuation. So this is what makes me think that it's Kang, and this might be the point I was trying to make earlier. It's because of her. The fact that she's still so prominent in the fact of saying, "Hey, when she said I'm going to find out who's behind this," that instantly made me point back to Kang. I was like, "It's got to be Kang." Like, what is she going to do? What is her purpose there if it's not to either expand? Like, even the fact that, because in the story, she is the reason that Alioth got released. Apparently, against Kang. Apparently, like she's heavily, connected to that. So all this says, like, that is even more reason for me to be like, man, this is based on they're pointing directly at Kang in multiple instances.
Okay, so Kang the Conquered is something Richards, right? Andrew Richards, something like that.
Nathaniel Richards,
like he said he's like, he could be a distant descendant of.
No, it is.
Richards.
It's a descendant of Reed Richards.
Yeah, so he's like in the 30th century. Humanity's like super technological, as if we didn't have the Dark Ages, right?
Yep.
So like, what if he's a Loki variant?
That's what someone said that in the chat. Like he could be posing as a Loki variant. Like that is and Kang has posed as multiple people before. Even them having the Sphinx in the background of this episode is a nod to Kang, because Kang collects treasures from other realities, and he had a ship, and he actually
this very much looks like a collectibles graveyard.
Yeah, that's one of the things he does, and he posed as a pharaoh. Like he actually posed as a pharaoh, and he also
Rama 2. Right?
Yep, he also posed as a 20th century businessman, and that's how he got like the Kang Tower, and he bought it in an alternate reality. He bought it from I think Tony Stark sold it to him in an alternate reality. That's why it says Kang and not Avengers. The one that you see in this screenshot right here that's on the screen right now. That one right there. And on top of that, them showing the Tower of Alexandria. Like, Kang collects world treasures. That was one of the things that he did, right? And that's why I say it's pointing right to Kang. Like, that's why I feel like it will be the biggest swivel if Kang is not in that castle. Like, if it's not Kang in that castle, then it's somebody that's gonna, Kang, what if, like, Kang is using them to get to the one who remains, and then he, like, kills him or something like that? Who knows? I don't know.
I think my best case scenario that would make me the happiest would be if they walk in. I mean, I don't know this, the end result, but he who remains is in there, and then the post-credit scene they show a glimpse of Kang. That would be insane to me.
Yeah,
that would make me happy as a viewer, as a payoff. Or even if it's the other way, like it's they go in there and they see a Loki, the King Loki or whatever, but then maybe after the credit scenes, it's he who remains or Kang.
Right? Is this Kang? Like, behind everything. All right, well, look. We have 3 minutes for our hour talk to end. Do we have any final notes before we get out of here? I mean, if we can, if Ben, this is completely on you. You tell us when, and I know you got stuff to do, bro, so I'm not taking it personal.
I do. I have to go finish packing and be asleep in like a couple hours. So, we could do a little wrap up. But no, I think us talking about like what we're expecting at the end of the next episode is a good way to, put a stamp on things.
Okay.
I don't want to backtrack and say, well, hold on, we're not done with Magneto yet. Where's Magneto? Right? But no, I mean, amazing episode. Can't wait to see what happens. Try not to get my hopes up. Unrealistic expectations and all that stuff. But I'm absolutely loving this show, man. The show.
Man, I did not think I was gonna be this in tune with this show. Really thoroughly enjoying where it's at. from episode 4 on, once the episode 4 hit, I was legit. I'm like, oh damn, the entire time. So I don't know, man. I'm in love with it. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen on this finale. I might stay up. This might be my last midnight showing watch along, depending on how my schedule goes hereafter. But I'm definitely in for this finale. All right, take us home, man. What are your thoughts, yo?
I think Ben, I think you need to keep your schedule clear next Monday evening. I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about. I think this is gonna be.
I should be home. We're gonna be home like midday Monday, so we'll be here.
Okay.
I'll be good to go. Yeah.
I think this is gonna be a hell of an episode, and better than we've seen from Disney Plus. So that's all I got.
Okay.
I think this is gonna be grand, and I hope this episode just brings something new that we can move forward with in the MCU. Like I wanted to do the lob towards the goal, so that all this multiverse stuff that we're about to get can have that easy dunk.
Man,
it makes sense. It only makes sense if they do it that way.
No,
It'd be really weird if they didn't.
Otherwise, I don't know the purpose of the show. Like I felt like with Wanda, right. I knew by the end of the last episode of Wanda, I was like, that what this was all about was making her the Scarlet Witch. I get it now.
Yeah.
Like they've never mentioned the Scarlet Witch, the name, until this episode, which was amazing.
Right.
Back in Winter Soldier, super simple. You can see it coming. Sam is Captain America. This is the introduction to that, and I just want this to be the introduction to the multiverse.
Okay. I mean, for me, I feel like they already kind of hit the multiverse thing right on the head.
Yep.
I think right now is about how I want to know what this does for the rest of the MCU, because I think this is you know what I think the whole point of this is actually to make you okay in understanding time and variance. I think the purpose of this show is to let you know that there's more than one version of the people that we know and some that we don't know just yet. And that actually says a lot. That actually says a lot. Especially considering Secret Invasion, Skrulls, and what's about to come. I think that's where we're going.
I think it's going to be an open-ended episode, and it's going to introduce this multiverse chaos, pun intended, chaos. I think it's going to end in absolute chaos.
Well,
cool. I'd love that too. I'd be fine with that.
Bro,
that's some sort of like, as long as I don't mind a cliffhanger as long as it's like you said, like chaos. That'd be cool.
They're gonna shit up.
Dude, they have to think about it. Think about it. But when is the next time that we touch on this? I think it's not only what if. I think that Multiverse of Madness is going to be one of the big payoffs. Damn, it's going to be Multiverse of Madness. Oh my God, this is going to be crazy. All of this is to set up Secret Invasion. Oh my God.
Yeah, and What If and Quantumania, like it's all
those are all
hinging on the same thing.
100%.
But you know what's dope is that like the I just lost my point in my head. I hate when that happens.
It's okay. It happened to me too.
It happens so often. No, okay, I got it. So like it's gonna create chaos, but I think what they're gonna do is fix it because it's supposed to be multiverse. It's supposed to be these different variations. Like it's like the universe is fighting it.
Oh.
Like they're the TVA or whoever's in charge of it is holding it back. Is controlling it in a villainous way. And I had a thought earlier today. I want to get this out real quick. That if you thought Wanda was wrong for what she did to a town, these are super villains because they're doing it to the world, the universe.
They're doing it to whole reality.
Thousands of people at the TVA. They have thousands of people at the TVA that they're doing this to.
Damn, that's true. They are definitely putting some a lot to think about, man. Oh, this is sick though. This is really cool. Ben, I don't want to hold you too much. Please go finish packing, get some rest for your flight, man. Thank you guys for coming on and talking.
Appreciate
I know
everybody.
I ain't trying to rush y'all off. Y'all know it's love. It's just I don't want you to be
Always
late. I know how it is to miss flights, bro.
I will block off 2 hours next week
Bet.
or more.
Bet.
You know what? No, I'm not even gonna block off time. I'm just gonna from whenever we start to whenever we end.
Let's make it 8. Let's make it 8. Let's run it then. We can make it 8 you guys' time. That's what? 5 months? Wait, what's 5 months time? 7. So maybe like 7:30 for you guys.
It's cool. I'll be around.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. We run it. Y'all heard it here, folks. Yo, can y'all make some noise for the boys, man? And while they do that, man, you guys tell them where they can follow you. Tell them where they can, see your stuff and where you want to talk to them.
Hit him with the tech. Hit him.
Tech Supreme.
Tech Supreme on everything. The YouTube videos are going proper right now with the podcast. So just hit Tech Supreme on everything, man. I tweet more than I do anything else. So follow me on Twitter. And shout out to the people last week who did follow me on Twitter. I peeped it. I appreciate y'all.
Nice, very good.
Hey.
Sketch Sawyer everywhere. Teaser to my game just popped today, so go give that a check.
Oh, I'm going to retweet that shit. Don't you worry about it.
Right. And that's about it, y'all. We love y'all. We love this shit every time. So see you in a week.
Hey, that's what I like to hear, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Well, look, go handle y'all business. Ben, have fun, take pics, and enjoy yourself. Tech, we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Peace,
y'all.
guys.
Peace, y'all.